think that if Arsenal needed a player, it was a proper number 9, because I knew the signing of Gabriel Jesus was not going to be a hit, because he's not going to give you 20 plus league goals. No. Even at his time at
league
City,
goals, combined goals, it would be
City,
difficult.
when there was so much creativity around him, he didn't do
always
that.
Drift to the
How much
of the
more
midfield.
at Arsenal? So they need a proper number 9 to be able to compete at the highest level. But they are not going in for a striker. Maybe Arteta knows something I do not know. They are not going in for a striker. They are going in for Kai Havert, who literally plays the role of Martin Odegaard. Yes, can deputize as, a false 9. But even in his role as a false 9, how many goals has he scored?
He's Chelsea's leading goal scorer last year.
So how many goals has he scored? That's the point.
He's a leading goal scorer.
He can be a leading goal scorer with 9. He can be a leading goal scorer with 9. He can be a leading goal scorer with 5.
We know he's not a prolific person.
Exactly. So for us now, I think that this signing is just to bring in a big name guy for people to know you are signing. It is not a signing they need. It is a signing they want. Yes, he can easily slot in any of the forward roles. Odegaard is out. He can play. He can play in the Martinelli role. He can play in the Saka role. He can play as a false 9. But Havert to Arsenal, what do you make of that signing?
Why buy a player for 70 million when you know he's probably not going to start?
You think Havert will not start?
I'm saying that. I said probably not going to start. Now, the role that he's in to play.
Yeah.
Arsenal have a consistent up front. That is, you have Gabriel Jesus up front.
Jesus,
Odegaard number 10, Martinelli and Saka.
So
you bring him in, you will say it's a competition. You have another deal that is supposed to rather solidify your midfield. As of now, the reason why Arsenal did not win the league was the decline of Partey.
But we'll talk about, because we're on Arsenal, we'll definitely talk about the eminent acquisition of Declan Rice.
Like you said, you brought Gabriel Jesus in, and you realize that one of the other reasons why Arsenal could not win the league was that it got to a time the goals dried up. And you know that every team for the past 10, 15 years that actually wins the league, it is two things. Either they have a very solid defense, or they have that number 9.
But City defied that narrative.
Listen to what I said. You have a solid defense, or you have that number 9. Okay. When City won with all players scoring, go and check their defense. Ruben Diaz.
They considered a league number. It was the season Ruben Diaz won the
take away that season. All the other times, the time that Liverpool won it, the time that City even won it the other time, it was Aguero. The time that Chelsea won it, it is either Drogba, Diego Costa. The time United won it, it was Van Persie. Even the last time that Arsenal won themselves, it was Henry. So every single season, if your player does not win the goal game, at least close to that. So Arsenal, they do not have a very solid defense. So if probably you know that maybe your defense cannot maybe sustain or maybe give you a lot of clean sheets, your attack should be very solid. Those who play on the wing, that is Saka, they were the only team that had 3 of the players scoring double digits.
So on that basis, Odegaard hit double digits in assists and goals in the league alone.
Yeah.
Saka hit double digits in assists and goals.
Yeah.
Martinelli likewise. So is that not good enough?
Like I said, all of these goals, they are things that are more like additives that come to the players who play. The goals, of course, can come from all of these players. But there should be that one masked man. One. If you take Liverpool, they had 3 front men. But there is that Salah that will always step up. Now, when you take these players, Saka that you are talking about, that gave you the double digits. How many matches was he able to play without injury? Odegaard is the player that is supposed to give you the assist, fine. But those goals are definitely not going to be enough. Like I'm saying, if you want to win the league, it is 2 things. A very solid defense, or a very potent attack.
So you think the acquisition
Now
of
bringing
Kai Havert
him in is just going to
is
be
a
like
want, not a need.
it is not something that is going to solve your center forward issue.
Like I said in my introduction,
It's a center forward issue.
We'll preview Arsenal season and as a whole, and you realize why. I'll give you the numbers. You get to see why I think that if Arsenal had a striker,
A center forward.
You remember those games when they were trailing, they were drawing. If they had that center forward, that
Martinelli will be on the waves, will cross
20
in.
league goals,
One other person will cross in.
25
Who
league
is there
goals.
to
Arsenal
head the
will
ball?
probably have won
Most
the
of their headed goals came from defenders.
So
either Saliba or what do you call it, Gabriel?
Like I said, I'm not a coach, but maybe Arteta has seen something we are not seeing. I mean, he wants to play a first number 9 one of the days. He's a good manager.
Yeah.
Arteta has seen something we are not seeing, and he's probably going to unleash some of the greatest assets of.